Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. Right, so we are back again with another Alliance War video. This is war number 3, and so far New Nation has started the season with mixed results. We won the first war, lost the second one, and this time we are up against TCN, who are definitely very scary and a capable opponent. All that being said, I do have fairly interesting and a messy war as well. I'm going to be using Mr. Fantastic as my main champion. Also going to have Human Torch and Odin with me. And initially, in Section 1, I am going to be taking Path 6. And the only fight on the Path 6 here I have is the Dragon Man, but I also have to do the joint fight afterwards. And this is a combat Deja Vu Prowess node and spiked armor, and we're going to be activating all of the Odin's pre-fights. We're going to be giving them to Mr. Fantastic for the later fights. They're not really needed here, but they will be helpful later on. And obviously we're going to be activating all of the Mr. Fantastic's pre-fights as well. And this fight should be very straightforward, really. Just, you know, parry heavy, get to level 2, build up your Mr. Fantastic. You don't need to worry too much about Mystic Dispersion or Dragon Man building on power. So I'm going to be boosting up, obviously, here as well as I can. And here we are. So the fight itself, again, is fairly straightforward. I will try not to give him too many prowesses. So we're going to do parry, medium, light, medium, parry, heavy, parry, medium, light, medium. And for most part, also obviously Mr. Fantastic is a tactic attacker, so he has access to neutralize, and on top of it, whenever I throw special attacks, I do have access to Fate Seal as well. And I do love using Mr. Fantastic, and in general I'm typically quite good with him, but also with this tactic, this was the first time I think that I used Mr. Fantastic, so this also was a bit of a learning curve for me. So here I have baited out 3 level 1s, so my combat power rate has shot up, and that will enable me to get to my next level 2 super quickly. My Mr. Fantastic is Sig 200, so he gets a significant increase in combat power rate whenever you do get the Careful Study passive active. And yeah, at this point, obviously, the Dragon Man, there's just not much happening. I'm blocking the level 1 hits on purpose as well, just to get a debuff on me, to get that willpower heal, because I did get clipped initially. Finish the fight with sweet 100% health, nothing to stress. And now we have this Rintrah. Now, this node does have Mighty Charge, so you have to use Nova Flame. And other than that, the only thing... Sorry, it doesn't have the Mighty Charge, but it has right back at it. So he goes debuff immune whenever I knock him down. And it has Ebb and Flow knockdown, which means I have to keep knocking him down if I want to do my full damage. And the base idea of this fight, it's a very straightforward fight. I just need to make sure that I keep knocking him down every now and then, not to let him get to 10 of his charges. So punishing his level 1 or heavy attack with a heavy attack of my own is kind of like the key here, obviously building up some smolders. Now I am letting his prowesses build up at some points there a bit too much, I suppose. Now again here we didn't knock him down with a special attack this time. He is ticking away here. Unfortunately, he is building up his prowesses and he's at 5, so his special attacks could get slightly scary, but I also have to keep knocking him down. But let's face it, unless you are eating a level 2 from Rintrah, his special attacks aren't exactly the hardest hitting ones. So the fight is over inside a minute, and it was important that I cleared this within the start of the war, so I don't hold up any people back. And now it's day 2. And at this point, I believe we were winning by 2 deaths. I believe it was 5 deaths TCN, 3 deaths for us. So we are in a good spot. And here we are in a very good spot. Our battle group hadn't died yet either, and we were ahead on exploration. So it looked like we are kind of like sailing for the win. We were behind on time though, which also is quite important to note. So next up here, I'm going up against Longshot, and obviously Human Torch against Longshot. It's not going to be anything too crazy or special. Just kind of like slow play it, parry a lot, build up your smolders. You can push Longshot to level 2s with Human Torch, because obviously he is Incinerate immune. so that's not a problem. Ideally, I do not dex that level 1. I'd much rather block everything just so I do not trigger the precision and don't feed his MD, because also on top of it all, he has a chance to nullify that precision automatically. And then I accidentally pushed myself to a level 3. I did want to throw level 2, but got a bit too much power, which is fine. So I'm just going to activate my level 3, which is going to put me in the no flame state. And we already had a whole bunch of smolders, so Longshot goes down pretty much straight after. So the next fight is going to be Hulkling, and I'm going to be taking that with Mr. Fantastic. And this one is going to be quite interesting again, because I do have 3 buffs on me, thanks to Odin pre-fights, and it does have the Rich Get Richer node there. And on top of it all, even if Hulkling will be winning any of the buff battles initially, obviously Mr. Fantastic's Petrify does help me deal with all of that stuff. I do have to keep an eye on his Pierce buffs and make sure he doesn't go unblockable when I try to parry. But other than that, we can see that Neutralize there is also putting in some work. I have baited out 1 level 1. He kindly activates another. And I'm going to go for a level 2 of my own here, which Fate Seals and gets rid of all of the Hulkling's buffs. And now I'm the sole beneficiary from the Rich Get Richer pretty much immediately. Now, unfortunately, he didn't want to throw his final level 1, so I end up pushing him to level 2. But it's fine because I'm winning the buff battle, and I already am basically at my 3rd level 2, at which point we have Petrify putting in work. Again, we are Fate Sealing here, the Hulkling. Everything's working just fine. And he throws again another level 1. I go for a level 1 of my own. Unfortunately, slightly mistime it, so I end up nullifying his Indestructible, which makes it last longer, which is kind of annoying. But from this point forward, I can just basically spam level 1s and be happy. He gains very little combat power. He can't gain any extra power from his abilities. And yeah, there's just absolutely nothing to worry about, and Hulkling goes down. Now, the next fight I do need to talk about, because it's Gorr on Rich Get Richer, and in theory, the fight should have went exactly the same way. Now, the only problem here is that I had never done this fight before. I had never done this matchup before. And in my head, I thought it will be fine if I play Mr. Fantastic as I normally do. Just, you know, do your parry heavy, build up normally to your level 2s and, you know, get the fight under control. Now, with the benefit of hindsight, it is evident that you can't do that. This is one of those fights where you can't play as you would normally. And with having done this fight already once, I would have had a completely different fight plan. I thought that in between the Petrify plus the 3 buffs from Odin, everything would be perfectly fine here. It wasn't. The plan here would be either number 1, just to rush to your level 1 in order to apply that Fate Seal immediately, or start with the Power Start 1 boost, you know, do the parry heavy, activate level 1, or even with the Power Start 1, I would also have enough time to get to my level 2 and everything's going to be fine. This fight's definitely perfectly doable and straightforward once you know that. Unfortunately, I didn't, and I also didn't realize it could be a problem. And the problem will start when we're going to take in combination Rich Get Richer together with the buffs that Gorr has and his really long special attacks. So here I activate all the pre-fight abilities. And again, the plan is wrong, and that was just to basically parry heavy, get to my level 2, drop that, and we're going to be good. So here we have him activate his level 1, which is perfectly fine, no problem there. And I hit him again, and he has more buffs than I do now. So I do get in my heavy attack here, but he doesn't throw his level 1 until the very end. Finally he does, and that's fine. And together with the increased combat power, right now he's at level 2. And I try to evade it, and I get clipped. But getting clipped with it is not the worst thing. Getting hit here is... And now he goes for another level 2, and I ended up blocking it. I should have tried to get hit in the face, because now I have 4 poisons, 5 bleeds, and I will just tick out. I did manage to activate my second level 2, but it's just too late. I just sticked out. So that was the problem there. I should have thrown my level 1 immediately at the start of the fight, or not even try to dex or block that level 2. And that was a very, very stupid death. I really hate when things like that happen. This was like a new untested assignment. We didn't have a video example of it. I had never done the fight before. And now after doing the fight, obviously it seems, very obvious. Just throw your special. You're going to Fate Seal him. He's going to get rid. You're going to take away all his buffs. Then you're going to start benefiting from Rich Get Richer, all that stuff. At the same time, entering the fight, I thought it would be perfectly fine if I just do however you would normally use Mr. Fantastic, build up to your level 2 without rush, just kind of like slow play it, make sure you knock him down, don't lose your debuffs. In reality, only thing that mattered here was throw your special attack. You don't even really need to salvage your debuffs, because you can reapply them later on. And now to make things even more fun, and this is the most fun part, obviously. I was super pissed about dying here. That was the first death of our Bile group as well in this war. So I immediately healed back up. And I went in. So I healed back my Mr. Fantastic to full. I activate Power Stat Boost, which I should have done before. And I'm like, I'm going to go and smack him. I'm going to go and smack him. Now, who can tell me what's going to be wrong here? The thing that I don't do is I didn't reapply Mr. Fantastic pre-fight, which is something I realized immediately entering the fight. So, at this point, I was kind of shitting it, because I thought, if I die to this again, I'm just gonna die of shame. But I did have the level 2 Careful Study passive active, which serves as 3 debuffs. And I do have more buffs than he does. I have significantly increased combat power rate, which ultimately means that I can gain power infinitely. As long as I spam my level 1s, he's never gonna gain power, and I still should have this fight in control. So as soon as I kind of quickly realized that I do still have this fight very much so under control, kind of calmed down, even without Mr. Fantastic pre-fight. But this is just, yet again, reinforces the idea where in the previous fight, having my debuffs wouldn't have even been important, or losing them wouldn't have been important. The important thing was just to throw my special attack to get access to that Fate Seal and make sure that Gorr doesn't get any buffs. And then it would be very, very easy win. And even right now, this fight, Gorr was just being a complete douche and refused to throw his special. Even now. So he just doesn't want to throw it. And I am there sitting, but at the same time I'm gaining power. He still doesn't want to throw his level 2 there. And eventually I just get tired of waiting, and I finish him off with a level 3 of my own. So this could have went even worse than it did, and it already did go bad, giving me my first death this season. Hopefully the only one, but taking away my alliance's donut, or my Bile group's donut. And then what happened is we had another death in alliance to that Nick Fury mini boss, and all of a sudden we were tied with TCN. We went from winning 5-3 to being tied 5-5, and we were losing on time. So that war kind of spiraled out of control very quickly, and we had nothing we could do about it. Luckily though, okay, so this is unrelated. I did get quite lucky with one of the early access bundles, but luckily though, as TCN kept exploring, we can see that their fight time still was very fast, comparatively speaking, but they did die 3 more times, finishing the exploration, and it means we won. So definitely not the greatest war for me, but as an alliance, we did get the W, which means we are 2-1 now. And that's not the worst start. It's not the greatest start either. Still sucks that we lost the previous war by 1 death, by half a death really. If it was equal, we were winning on time there. But thankfully, we did end up winning this one. So we are still kind of like in the running for our goal to get into the top 3. We'll see how it works out. And yeah, that's it for this one. Let me know how is your war season going, guys. And I'm going to catch you guys soon. See ya. Hello there, guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about the